Hi everyone and welcome. Today I am doing the Colorists Firsts Tag. I was not tagged in this video, but I did feel like, being my channel name is Ashley's Coloring Journey, that this would be a great video to show you where I started, what I started with, what worked for me, and how I got where I am. I am not a professional colorist, but I have come a long way since highlighters and Crayolas. So I'm going to go ahead and start, and the first prompt is, what was the first coloring book you bought when you started coloring? So I started with Color Arts from Walmart. These are just Walmart books. They have, sorry, trying to get the glare off it. They have all kinds of these. They have spiral ones. They have single ones that come in packs of 4. So it's really... it was a really good variety for me to start with, to decide what I liked. When I started coloring, I was into alcohol markers. So this paper worked really well for me. It was single-sided. It's really thick paper. So this was the book that caught my eye. And as you can see, I've skipped a lot of the pattern pages. I just don't do the pattern, but that is the first book. So the first supply I bought would be alcohol markers and these, and I bought them together because I wanted the thick tip and the fine point for outlining. So when I first started coloring, I colored with one shade. Let me see if I can find my line here. So I would color with one color, and I don't know, let's hold them up close and see. And then I would go around it with the fine liner. So that was how I colored. That was my thing. I didn't need pencils. I didn't need fancy markers. Same thing with this one. I went through and I colored it with the pastel colors of the Bics, and then I filled it in with the darker colors. So these were 2018. So those are my first 2 supplies. I do not own any fancy markers, no Cali Arts, no Prismacolor, nothing like that. So to this day, if I am using alcohol markers, I am still using Bics and Sharpies and fine points. I do have Arteza Inconyx fine points and Staedtler Triplus, but these are still my go-to on basic pages. So the next prompt is, what first non-budget friendly set of pencils. So I started in about 2015 with just basic coloring books, kid coloring books, and a couple I ran into at Walmart that weren't like adult coloring but weren't exactly in the kids department. So I didn't actually start using pencils until probably 2019. So for Christmas 2019, I bought the 72 pack, and then I believe it was Mother's Day this year, I bought the 150. So Prismas are my first non-budget friendly. My second is Arteza. And I think those are the only 2 non-budget friendly pencils I have. So I am a Prisma girl, and I do go through a lot of Prismas. So I ran into these on clearance for $10, and it says they were regularly $39.94. So I bought 4 of these, just hoping to help kind of stock up my collection, so I didn't go through so many. First hardback book. So when I first started, 2017 I believe, because I had my daughter in 2017. So when I had my daughter, quick backstory, I know, sidetracked, I broke my hip. She was transverse, which meant she was sideways. She had she had her head wedged in one hip and her feet wedged in the other, and she was going nowhere. So they broke my hip when I had my daughter, and then shortly after, in April, when she was 4 months old, I had a stroke. So I had a lot of time to color, and they had a subscription box out at the time called Coloring Crate, and so they had a Disney box. And they had the little Kincaid book, this giant Kincaid book, these two books, pencils, I can't remember what else came with it. But these two hard books I got in it, and it was 35 bucks a month. They do not do Coloring Crate anymore. They closed down, which I was really sad about because I'd only made it like 3 months into the subscription before they closed. They were having shipping troubles, but I was really sad because I really liked it, and especially having a broken hip and not being able to go to Walmart and whatnot, because I did not buy books off Amazon at the time. I think my Amazon addiction to coloring books started in 2019. So this was a great way just to kind of get some books to me, from me, to work on until I could get up and move in and whatnot again. So those are my first hardbacks. First buddy color would be Jamie. Jamie's Coloring Love. Met her in a group in 2018. And they did monthly color alongs and whatnot, and we started chatting, and we did a couple of our own pages. I don't think I have any right in front of me to show you, but we have done quite a few buddy colors over the years. And we tried to mix it up. We have a little bit different styles. I am scared of people. Jamie loves people. So we mix it up a little bit, you know. Sometimes it's my style, sometimes it's her style. And it's a great way for me to learn how she does what she does. And for her to see, you know, what I'm into. And we're really good at compromising. Most of the time, if we have the same book, I will just let Jamie pick the page. Because we are opposites. So she will pick the pages in the book that I would never color. And then those ones are done and completed, and I don't have to worry about them in the future because she made me color them. So that is my buddy color partner. First color tube channel you watched? So I did not know about Facebook groups and YouTube and coloring groups and any of that until probably late 2018. So my first coloring YouTube that I remember that caught my attention, that I subscribed to, that I actually started buying things she owned and following along with her, was Color with Claire. I know there's a lot of beautiful color tubers out there, but a lot of them have, you know, the really expensive pencils, really expensive markers. And Claire is she's just very simple, just Prismacolors, just easy techniques. You don't need 50 colors to shade a leaf. She can do it in 3 or 4, you know, and she has a wide variety. She has food and everything, animals, skin, backgrounds, anything you want to know. She's done a tutorial on it. So that is my #1 influencer for my coloring and where I got started. I still watch her. First page I colored. So I know they are talking adult coloring, but I just thought this would be kind of fun to show you. So when I first started, I just kind of grabbed a book off my kids' bookshelf, and I was like, I'm just going to kind of work through it best I can. So this says 2014. So I actually started in 2014. I just didn't have any adult books per se yet. So I just kind of started with these, and you can tell they are really rough. I was still learning to shade. These are crayon and pencil, and I think that's part of my problem. I will tell you one thing. After going to Prisma, and I wish I had a Prisma page here to show you. Let me see if I can show you. So see how bright and vibrant and rich this is? So after coloring with a Prisma, where you just take this one pencil and you get this beautiful dark blue color, I will never be able to go back to Crayola because they just don't have the pigment. No matter how hard you color with that pencil, you will never get that dark blue you got with the one Prisma. So Prismas have ruined me. I will never be I do like Crayola markers and pencils if I'm doing light shading or doing pencil over marker, but as far as just straight coloring pencil, I probably won't use those. So other than those, my first pages colored would be these two, and they are out of the color art book I showed you. I think it's funny that I colored these two pages first because now I would never touch these. I don't like wallpaper, I don't like patterns, I just don't. And you can see where I left the white because I got stuck. So technically they're probably not completed, but they are now because I'm not ever going back. So this was 2016. So I guess you could say my journey started 2016. So I've been doing this for 4 years. I also have, this is 2017. So this is when I had my broken hip and my daughter, and I thought highlighters, they came out with all kinds of cool highlighter colors. So when I was little, we had the typical pink, orange, yellow, green. And then I went to Walmart one day and they had, oh, and the blue. They had this purple and, you know, the darker magenta pink and red. And I was like, oh my gosh, we got to try it out. So that was my highlighter tester page. Same with this one, little bit of highlighter, little bit of checking out some colors, some purples with some pinks, some pastels out of the big sets. So I know I only asked for one, but there's my mandala. I also find this funny because granted it's a very easy going mandala, but I don't color those anymore either at all. First portrait you colored. So technically this is the first portrait I colored. Somehow I made it through my coloring journey for 3 years and was able to avoid people and skin tones and hair and eyes and all the stuff that comes with that. That all changed meeting Jamie. So this is the first, one of my first portraits. There might have been a couple with less realistic characters, but this is the first that was in my portfolio. Next up was this one in 2020, and that's out of Nightfall. Her hair is awful, but the rest isn't so bad. So for one of my very beginning portraits, I am not too ashamed. I'm glad I copied it out of my Nitro book so I can try again now that I know a little more about, you know, adding pink to the cheeks and dark under the hair and whatnot. So that'll be fun to try. I do love my little pink owl though. He just... first grayscale. So my first grayscale was Kimberly Hawthorne's group. And I don't know, I don't think I dated this, but it had to be at least 2017 when I did this one. And I am proud of how it turned out. I had no idea, as you can, if you hold it up a little closer, you can see that I really had no idea what I was doing. I just kind of winged it. I didn't have a white gel pen or Poscas back then. I probably could have added some snowflakes on top. I didn't know how to color snow, so I kind of just left him the way he was, you know. But in this I just colored blue because I had no idea and just kind of smeared that. So it isn't the greatest, but it is my first, and I am pretty proud of him. My Frosty the Snowman at a Christmas Fun. And the last one, first ever completed book. I do not have a completed book. I have a couple that are super close. I think that's going to be one of my resolutions for 2021 is to complete a book somewhere along the way. I do think I'm going to kind of challenge myself to a book of the month. So I'm going to take a book that I bought a while back that I haven't touched at all, and I'm going to dedicate myself to a couple, 3 pages out of it at least. I'm still going to color my other pages or whatever, but I'm going to make it kind of a priority to try to get a few pages out of that book done. So hopefully I will have that. And that was all the questions, but I did have a couple more things I wanted to show you. So going back to my first books, this was one of them, and I haven't colored a whole lot in it, but I thought this was the coolest thing ever. You got to color your own pattern, write notes. I colored the little dot to dot. That was fun. So color by number, and it has all seasons. I'm trying to skip a little. See, there's spring color the pattern and draw. Think of all the ways you are blessed. So I really like this, and I really should have worked in it more, but at the time I wanted coloring books, not activity books, which is where I found this at Walmart, was in the activity books. But it does have some neat pages. If it had a few more blank pages in it, it would be great for like a palette book. It's got nice thick paper. There's the fall pages. So that is Geometric Adult Coloring Journal. I did not pay $16 for it. I know that. Another one I started out with very first was Posh Coloring Book. This one was double-sided, and at the time when I first started, I didn't think about it. So I got home and I was all excited and I had a page picked out, and then I went, oh no, that is not gonna work for me right now. So there is nothing colored in it because I never went back and tried it with pencils or anything. I kind of grew out of this style of book. So I do just have kind of an empty Posh book hanging out. But it is one of my firsts. It's a Deborah Moore. And then I just also wanted to show you, I tried these markers. These were also one of the first set of markers I ventured out of when I was doing my Sharpie and Bics. And these are the Bic Color Collection felt pens. These were the first time I realized felt pens are not my thing. I don't like how they rub holes in the paper. They just weren't for me. So for some reason I bought 2 of them because they were mismarked on the shelf, and the shelf said $5, but then when I got to checkout they were like $16, but the lady fixed it for me. So I went ahead and got them, but this one you can see still in plastic. They were not my favorite. So that was like the first supply I bought that I was like, no, this isn't gonna work for me. And I have not ever tried again. And then color by number. This is my first color by number, so that is why I included this in this video. I bought this book probably 6 months ago, so 4 years into my journey, I finally did a color by number. As you can see, I haven't got very far. They do not hold my attention very long, but I did try it, so I can at least save that. So I believe that is everything I wanted to show you today. If you have any questions or want to see anything else, please let me know. I thank you for looking at all my artwork from the past, and I hope to see you soon.